Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for a very specific webinar that is going to cover our International Affairs Department. So this webinar is going to cover the Master of International Affairs degree, the combined degrees with that, and the MIP, which is a one-year degree, very similar to the MIA, but it is streamlined. So we will cover all the aspects of it. And of course, I encourage you at any time, drop your chat questions and I will read them when I can. I will have joining me Matt Upton later, and he will, when he takes over, I can start looking at that a little more closely, but I've got a lot of slides to cover before then. So the agenda today is me covering not only the degree and what it looks like and the tracks and concentrations. I'm going to give you some samples of what the capstone projects have looked like, the degree overviews, some stats about the incoming class, what we look like in terms of the admissions process and what we need from you and when, the funding that we provide to our students. We're going to talk about our cost, what that looks like each year. And then Matt will come in and talk about professional development, the career services, kind of how you can get involved with the student groups. And then I will stop recording and we will start taking some questions and answers if you just want to unmute at that time and do that. But again, at any time, feel free to go ahead and just put those in the chat questions. So this is me. I'm Catherine Meyer. I'm Director of Graduate Admissions and Recruitment here at the Bush School, working specifically with our master's programs. I have several colleagues in the office with me, including Ashley Treadway and Annetta Douglas. And then Matt Upton is Assistant Dean for Career and Student Services. So he works with you guys once you're here, really starting during that orientation period. And his staff will lead you with the internships and the career opportunities and engaging in a number of alumni and just the career employer relations that are coming in. So I'm going to start with some very basic ones. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I want to start with what is the Bush School of Government and Public Service. So that you realize we are the smallest school college within Texas A&M University. We consist of both undergrad and graduate programs that consist of both political science and international studies for the undergrad level. And at the grad level, we got several different degrees, which we will kind of show you some of that in a minute. So we opened our doors in 1997. So we had our 25-year anniversary a couple of years ago. And then we have roughly 3,000 master's alumni that you guys can network with. Very involved alumni who want to give back that service context and pass it on. So we offer master's degrees here in College Station. We have got 5 of them. We have opened a DC campus, which offers 2 of them, both international affairs related. And I'll kind of cover when I have those, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the DC office because they'll hold their own webinars and provide their own information, which is a little bit different than us. And then we have 1 executive Master of Public Service and Administration that is available online. And that one requires students to have at least 5 years of work experience, 3 at the management level. But that one's on the other side of the house, the public service side. And there are 5 graduate certificates, both offered online and on campus. So if someone doesn't want the full degree, they can get a shorter context for that certificate. But we're preparing students for a number of different public service careers. It can include private. We just push the public because that seems to be the mentality and the uniqueness of the Bush School. People tend to find us because of that service element. But they're going into nonprofits, international NGOs, all levels of the government, all different levels of agencies with policy, focusing on education, security, so forth. There are some that are going into private industry, so government contractors, some business areas, and we'll cover that with some more detail of what those agencies look like when Matt comes in a little bit. And then who are we looking for? Obviously, everybody wants motivated students, smart students, hardworking leaders, and we're no different from that. But additionally, we do like that call to service, especially those looking at the public sector. And then those that are mature, ready to tackle these, ready to ask questions, ready to get involved in the classroom. In the Bush School, you're going to work individually and as part of a team. So just realize this is a lot of collaborative work in the classroom. And so you will learn to work with others and divvy out the responsibilities to some context. You're going to develop your knowledge, skills, and abilities, which means that when you develop those skills, you're not stuck in one avenue. There are a lot of our students who might do a career path in nonprofits for 5 to 10 years, but maybe later on shift gears into another pathway. You never know where life's going to lead you, who the connections you make, what opportunities kind of fall at your feet, or something you hear about and you pursue. And so you're going to basically develop a great skill foundation and be able to turn that into what you want. And then remember, you always get access to our career services office for a lifetime membership here with Texas A&M. And so particularly with Matt in his office, we'll be helping you when you're ready for those career shifts. And then build lifelong personal and professional connections. So as far as the International Affairs degree, this is one of our flagship programs. So this is a 2-year degree, 48 credit hours. We only start each fall, which does mean that at the graduate level, 9 hours is full time. We're over that. We're doing 12 hours. So it's 4 courses each semester, 4 fall, 4 spring, summer internship or language immersion, 4 fall, 4 spring, you graduate. Can you slow it down? Yes, but you have to work with your department in order to ensure that you still receive funding if an additional different semester is needed, and what that looks like for you, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Most of our students are coming in and they are attending full time, right? They're here and then they're out and they're going out and working it. Now, as far as building a degree, this is relevant to your interests. We have 11 electives to play with in 16 courses. So no 2 students look alike necessarily in this program. You're going to receive faculty and career advising, lots of opportunities for networking, both with our alumni, the employers that are coming in, connections that our current students are making. So you will take advantage of every bit of that Aggie network. You're also going to need to complete a relevant summer internship or language immersion. Now, keep in mind, this foreign language test that is required for graduation is for our English native speakers. So those that are domestic, primarily, right, focused, you guys are coming in and you will need a foreign language. And so we let you choose that language as long as it's a spoken one. And then you will line up a test with our coordinator here. And you will then do a phone conversation with typically ACTFL, American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages, in order to get validated and say, all right, you have passed this at least at intermediate low, which is conversational. If you are an international student and English is your second language, then you are exempt from that. So you're going to work with our advisors through this, and then you are also going to work with faculty through your program to take on a client capstone project, and you're going to work with your classmates. And another slide will give more detail on that. I will keep in mind here that you can gain flexibility in this program by doing a few online elective courses if you like some courses that are being offered through one of our certificates. And you'll be able to take those. Just keep in mind, if you do it, they're additional $1,500 per course because of the way the fee structure is here. So it only applies to electives, which is the majority of your program. Not a lot of students jump in and out of those online courses, but it is there, especially if someone is traveling in from, let's say, San Antonio or Austin, and they don't want to be here in College Station for multiple days. So there is a little bit of a way to have some flexibility to do that. Now, if you do one of our graduate certificates, which I'll talk about later, there's a max of 12 credit hours that we could take from one of those. So again, that's a way that sometimes people come in maybe in a spring start, if they graduated in December, or if they found out about our program and they don't want to wait, they want to go and get started on some classes. You can sign up for a graduate certificate and take, let's say, 2 classes spring, 2 in the summer. Those 4 courses can count towards the Bushville master's degree and shorten our MIA a little bit. But we'll go into some of the drawbacks of that, including the funding aspect and costs. So as far as what does this MIA and MIP and the MIA combined degrees look like in terms of tracks and concentrations? So the MIA portion of our degree, you are required to do a track. So you will either do international development and economic policy, which typically enrolls about 20 students a year, or the national security and diplomacy, which is closer to about 75 students a year. Most people tend to err on the side of going, I really like the idea of diplomacy, and they want to go that route. Now, the concentrations are required for the MIA. If you're in the MIP, they're elective. But the MIA, you have to do at least 2 concentrations. And to fulfill that, you got to do at least 3 courses under that heading. So if someone wants to come in and focus on diplomacy itself, they're going to choose American diplomacy and foreign policy, take at least 3 out of the 10 or so classes that are listed there. And then you will need to then pick a second concentration. And you can pick any of them. So you've got a lot of flexibility and get an idea of the kinds of classes I will show you on the next slide. So this is the core curriculum, right? This is 4 core courses. Those are the ones in maroon. You've got 1 track course, which is in the gold, and then 11 electives, which are in black. So, and then the summer, you got that blue part that I put for professional internship or language cultural study. It's your choice of which one. Most people want to do the internship because you want those connections you develop during your internship period. If you come in with quite a bit of work experience, then we can waive that internship opportunity. So everyone's going to come in their first year and do Quant Methods 1, International Politics and Theory and Practice, Fundamentals of the Global Economy, one of the track requirements, and then you are already taking electives even as early as your first semester. And what those look like will be on that next slide. But I did want to point out in maroon in that semester 4, your final semester, there is a capstone seminar that you're required to do. And that's the one where the faculty have gone out and found a client. You get to have some say-so in which one you want. So within a concentration, there are dozens of courses, maybe a dozen per field here. So American diplomacy and foreign policy, I've just listed some common names of these courses. And it has ... because there are more courses listed. I can only pick so many. Intelligence, same idea. The grand strategy and defense policy. Now put those in red because those are national security ones. The conflict and development is in brown because it's cross-listed. It is both national security and it's international development. And then China and Indo-Pacific is one of our regional areas. So we've got 4 regions that we focus on, one of them being China and Indo-Pacific, Latin America, Europe, and the Middle East. So students can choose to do an area if they want, or if not, then you choose from one of the many other concentrations you have available. When you get to that final semester, you complete a consulting project with other students, with fellow students. We are not a thesis-based program, so it's not you coming up with a research topic and doing a 80-page paper on a particular topic. You instead are getting ready for the practical real-world assets here. And so this capstone is 4 months. It's only a semester. The majority of them are in the spring because that's your final semester. But we do have some people who come in off cycle because of the certificates, or they just start that way because of the combined programs. And so we usually offer 1 or 2 options in the fall. So you don't have as many choices, but there's at least something there to take. These capstone projects, the faculty member has found this client. They come back and tell you in the fall, here's what this client is asking us to do. You will hear what the scope of that work is, and then you will have some say-so in which one you want to do. So you'll rank order in your preference 1, 2, 3. And then a staff member is then going to assign you to complete that capstone with your fellow classmates. So there's usually about 4 to 12 people per project, probably closer to 8 in most of them, but some of them get really popular. So they allow a few more people in some of those. And you're taking all the work that you've been learning over the past year and a half and putting it into play and researching for these faculty with this client and putting it together both in a presentation and in a written document. Sometimes it does involve some survey work where you might be working, door to door, kind of gathering surveys on the ground, maybe in an area. Sometimes these travel internationally. Sometimes they're in another state. You would then maybe be able to rank even order your preference if you wanted to travel. Some will pick these capstones based on the topic because it's related to their area. Other will do it purely because there's some travel involved and they really want to do that. Others may pick a faculty member they haven't had a chance to take and they really want to engage with this faculty member because they've heard good things, but they're not in their area. So others pick it because their friends are going to be in that and they want to stay together with that. It's all a preference, but you're not guaranteed the first one that you put. Sometimes you will get your second, a couple of times you might get your third. But we are giving you those options, and those clients are coming from a wide variety of fields, including the same ones that you're finding employment. So some are state agencies, some are nonprofits, federal, local, or community agencies. I pulled the ones that are relevant for this past spring and the ones that are going on for this fall. Now, I don't know what the title is for the FBI one that Professor Howell is doing. So I just left it there, but it is an FBI security kind of oriented one. The other one is with Dr. Thornton, which is going to be more of a NATO kind of emphasis. And the client is the Baltic Security Foundation. So those that had to do a fall capstone, they would get a choice of one of these two. Now, the spring, obviously, that's when the majority of our students are taking it, and you've got a wide range of options. So you can see here the client that is highlighted along with the instructor, and I put the titles first. So you may have someone that does community approaches to disaster risk reduction, which is the International Organization of Migration. Professor Hamey does a lot of our conflict and development, going into immigration and people who are displaced from war. And so some of these are very unique in the aspect of the title that is being offered for that, or the client. And some of these clients will be regular clients. They're here every year or every other year because they like working and getting some free consulting work that our students are actually doing for them. So this just gives you a nice snapshot of what some of those look like. I don't know how developed this is on the website. Sometimes they run a little bit behind, but if you ever need some of the list, I obviously have them in a document that I can email you if you ever need that. But they are definitely something that should be on the website and kept up with. I'll take a look at that later and see. Now, as far as those electives, we have those concentrations with the elective classes listed, but not all of them are our classes. Some of those classes are also being pulled from other departments here at A&M because they're related to the same area. So for instance, someone who's doing our cybersecurity is probably taking classes out of management information systems out of the business school. If someone is doing, let's say, pandemic preparedness and disaster response, they may be taking classes out of urban planning or public health. So it is quite diverse. We take advantage of that Texas A&M connection, having a super large university with a lot of resources, and students take courses from any number of these different departments. I listed these specifically because they were found on our sheet, and I know that they are commonly used. So that can range from accounting to statistics to land development, management information systems, like I mentioned before. So lots of variety of the coursework. All right, now to shift gears, that was the MIA side of the house. Now, within the MIA, there are a couple of special degrees. One of them is a 3+2 joint program. Now, this is only for Texas A&M undergraduates in these two departments. You have to be a bachelor's student enrolled in international affairs and economics at Texas A&M. And what they can do is work with their undergrad advisor, and then they can come into our program by their senior year and start taking our classes. So they are required to have a certain GPA. With the econ, they have to have a 3.25 GPA or better. For the international affairs, it has to be a 3.5 GPA. It is higher because our average GPA is higher for that INTA, and we are expecting students to uphold that. We don't bring in a lot of students. As I put on the last bullet, it's typically enroll about 6 3+2 students into the international affairs out of the 90 to 100 that we're looking for. So it's not a big program feeder for us, but it does exist. And students just have to apply by the time their junior year when they're hitting that 70, 80 hour mark and they're enrolling with their 102 hours. So it just reminds them that they get to double count some classes. They get to pay undergrad costs in their first year because they're still a U4, undergrad fourth year. They don't have to pay any application fee because it's an internal app because they're still an undergrad. And they get to earn their bachelor's and master's in 5 years instead of traditionally 4 years bachelor's, 2 years. for the master's. Now, one of the combined degrees that we have constructed is a degree that is a 3-year degree with Master of Public Health. Now, to me, this is reversed. It should be MPH-MIA because you guys start with public health. And in fact, they are the guiding program. You have to apply to the MPH, which is the Master of Public Health, in a system. We use GradCast for our system. They use a program called Sophus. So you would have to log into Sophus and apply to them first. And then you would then let them know that you're interested in us, and then you would apply to the MIA as an internal app. That way you're not paying their fee and our fee at, over $100 or close to the $100 for each. Now you just pay for the Sophus app, and then ours is internal and doesn't cost anything. You spend the first 1.5 years with the MPH if you're admitted to both of us. And it is possible that some students have been admitted to their program, but not ours, or vice versa. So just keep in mind, you got to work with both programs, figure out how both of them work with funding, what's the timing of this. But you guys do the first 1.5 years with MPH. We let you know and keep up with you. And we're already telling you what your funding will be and that you will receive the non-resident waiver when you're with us. But I don't know if you receive that waiver and any funding for the MPH because their funding's different. So you've got to work with their department and see how they work this. If you're interested in this, you get one of 2 options. It's health policy and management or health promotion and community health science. And then you start taking their classes, and then you have to complete at least 1 capstone. It's either with public health because they have their own, or you're going to do ours. And you just work with your advisor to line that up. Keep in mind that MIA foreign language requirement still has to be met. So you still have to have a foreign language or max test out of it if you already have that ability, or if you're coming as an English as your second language, you don't have to do it. And then just remember that the Bush School funding only applies in that last 1.5 years. So you will have to work with the other department to see what funding they have. This is the same thing for econ. Same thing. It's now is listed correctly. You start with econ first. It is also 3 years, 78 credit hour. We're sharing some overlap classes, but you're applying to GradCast for econ. Let them know that you're interested in us within your first semester. You don't have to do that early. And then they're going to start working with you on an internal app. You spend your first year with econ, your second year with us, your next semester with econ, and then your final semester with us. So it goes a little bit back and forth. We have not had a student in this program yet. It's fairly new. Started last year, maybe the tail end of the year before. We've had people express interest, but no one's actually followed through with it. So students have to complete at least 1 capstone course, either through econ or with us. Same thing, MIA foreign language requirement has to be met, and the funding only applies while carrying our full load. So you may be going back and forth a little bit. You'll need to work with them to see if you can get that waiver, especially for you international students that might be interested. Now, the final degree to talk about in a little more detail is the Master of International Policy. It is an executive level degree. It is only a 1-year degree, but you have to come in with 4 years of professional international experience. Usually that is met from someone who has been in the military or someone who has worked with programs across borders, right? So somebody who might be in a federal government job and be working with international affairs topics, but only can get away for 1 year and get permission. Maybe they're being sponsored by their government and do that degree and then come back. The biggest difference is that you are still using the MIA track and concentrations if you want them, because they're optional. And we do have admissions in this case for fall, spring, and sometimes summer, but you are not required for the internship because you already have experience. You do not have to take part in the capstone project. There's no foreign language component. And there's also no Bush School scholarships. There's no funding giving for this. So you have to be fully funded or have your own support in order to do this program. Our money is reserved for the MIA, not the MIP. It is a much smaller program. Now we're looking at between 3 to 10 students per semester, and we've been fairly consistent with that. But a lot of them come in through the military, at least domestic students. We've had a few international students who might have been sponsored by their governments. The curriculum for the MIP, because it is fast-tracked, you have 2 core courses, 5 track classes, and then 3 electives that you just take a hodgepodge. So in the first semesters, let's say you start in the fall and the spring, you're doing international politics, the fundamentals of the global economy, and then some track courses and some electives. In the summer, in order to make this, 1, 2, 3, you're going to have to do 2 of our classes. There's only 2 offered. I believe those are right now terrorism in today's world and deterrence and coercion. And those are typically offered on campus in the summer 1 session. If not, you may have to look at doing some online classes through our certificate. And if you do that, in order to fulfill it for the summer, then you're either going to be paying that extra $1,500 courses, or you're going to have to find a class elsewhere, maybe through urban planning, maybe through the history department, something that's being offered, because most of our courses are not in person in the summer because our students aren't here. So you either have to do it through a certificate course or through another department. Now, those certificates I've mentioned a couple of times, these are smaller versions of our degrees. It only takes 4 courses to complete, not 16. So in this case, that you've got the CAIA, which is the Certificate in Advanced International Affairs. It takes 4 courses to earn it. Or you can do Homeland Security, Nonprofit Management, or Public Management. Those are all offered in-house here with us. The Homeland Security is 5 courses if you wanted to do it. You can start this from anywhere because they're online. They have their own fees. You cannot get waivers for them, in the sense that if you're an international student, you are charged non-resident rates. And so there's no way around that. So they are a little bit more expensive, and you have to keep that in mind. You would work with the Office of Extended Ed here in the Bush School, and their contact information is that Bush School online at tamu.edu. They are often on the website during the day where you can chat with them. Just go to their pages. There is another one that is done with the geosciences. It's called the Certificate in Geospatial Intelligence, and it takes 5 courses to do it. If you're interested in it, you would apply through the geosciences, and then you're just taking some of our courses. So these can complement the MIA. They can be a way to start it earlier. Just knowing that you can complete them either online, or if you are here in College Station, a lot of these are offered in person, and you can do them in person, and it doesn't give you that extra fees for it. But look for your focus areas. Like if you're already interested in counterterrorism, then they have a focus area in that in the CAIA. So go ahead and start taking those courses. If you are from Texas A&M University, you can start enrolling those as early as your senior year, especially when you get into your final semester and you don't need as many classes. Now shift gears and let's go to admissions for a few minutes. So if you are interested in these programs and you want to follow through, keep in mind we work a year out. So application requirements is both GradCast application. I already gave you those exceptions. If you're coming in through the 3+2 program or one of the combined degrees, or if you're already a master's student at A&M, those are all internal apps. You don't have to pay for that extra fee because you're already active in something else. So we have to go back route for that. The app fee is $89 domestic, $114 for international. I will say this now, and I will say it later. I do not have application fee waivers. The only ones I do have that I can put into play, which means I'm paying Texas A&M for them, are the ones that we have agreements with. And those are organizations like AmeriCorps, Peace Corps, Rangel and Pickering Fellows, PPIA. So if you've got one of those, it's very clearly marked on the website to email us and we'll give you the code for that. But I can't just waive an app fee. I have to pay for them. So I can't afford to do that more than the couple of thousand I've set aside that are always taken up by those organizations. Now, when you apply, it's only an unofficial transcript. We don't need the official unless you decide to enroll. You will need 2 recommendations, not 3. We've changed that this year. Typically, you're going to want someone who can talk about your academic record. Faculty tend to want to read about how you do in a classroom. Now, if you can't find 2 academic, then try to split it with 1 academic and 1 something else. Leadership, work, volunteerism, whatever works for you. Just make sure that you have warned those faculty that these are coming through the system and they can upload them and get them back on time. Now, another thing that we changed from last year is that we are including the personal statement being meshed now with the international experience essay. They used to be 2 separate docs. Now we're just making it 1 document. People were already talking about their international experience in that personal statement. So we're just now saying, let's just everybody do that. So we lengthened it from 750 words to be 1,000 words to give you a little bit more time to talk about some of that experience through your classroom, through your travels, what have you. The GRE test is optional. Now, some people test well. If you do and you want to take that test, it's about $220. Please do. It could help with not only the admissions process of it, but maybe the evaluation of funding. Because if you've got a good GPA and a good GRE score, it can maybe land you higher funding. Certain faculty really covet that. If you've got a low GPA and you need something to offset that and you can test decently, then look at doing that for that purpose. Or if you just feel like your experiences don't reflect well in your current thing, take the test. I will tell you the majority of students do not. It's one more thing they have to schedule and it's the money involved in it. And so it really has become optional and a lot of people don't do it. So if you do, it just stands out a little more. Now, the English proficiency test scores that are required for Texas A&M, if you're not a language native English speaker, you will have to meet it in some way. And they're all listed on the website. TOEFL and IELTS are often the way. And those that take GRE scores, certain verbal scores will waive you out of it too. So just look at the website. If you've got questions, Ashley is found at Bushkill Applications at tamu.edu. You'll start receiving emails from her from the moment you start submitting that application and start working on it. For those that are looking in the combined programs with Econ and the MPH, just remember our portion of it is free. There's no fee for it, but you are going to have to pay whatever application fee that SOFIS or for that GradCast is asking. Unofficial transcripts are still usable. Now they still go with the 3 letters of rec. So because they're asking for them, then that's obviously what we're looking at too. We technically only need 2, but you're probably going to have to submit 3 because those other programs require that. You still need your resume. You're still going to just do the personal statement with your international experience. So remember, you're probably going to send us something unique that's a little different from those other programs. And you just email those to us. GRE test is still optional for most programs, including their 2. So just read their website, make sure. And English proficiency test score, same thing. You're just going to meet them in whatever way, through testing or by having attended a U.S. institution for 4 years or doing a master's for 2. The process and timeline, September 1 is when applications open. So they are open right now. December 15th is our priority funding deadline, meaning we need time to process and get those in front of the faculty. So try to hit that December 15th deadline if at all possible. You're still going to receive funding consideration if you apply by January 5th. There's just a few scholarships that we make nominations for that if you miss that December 15th, we can't get it processed in time, but it doesn't affect very many people. So January 5th is your deadline. I put a question mark. We may extend it for a few weeks. We don't know yet. The committee is going to be reviewing these applications. We start doing interviews in February. If you weren't aware of that, you need to read our website. We start sending out invitations in January because we want our faculty primarily to meet you. And so I'm going to be assigning you interviews with faculty. You can either attend in person. It's going to be for the weekend, February 21, 22, or I will use the entire month of February to schedule Zoom interviews where you would be meeting with professors in your interest areas. And they're going to leave notes for you. Those go into your file, and we use that with the admissions committee to not only make admissions decisions, but then the scholarship committee comes in right after and makes those financial aid decisions. So by early March, we will then meet. That's usually the first week of March. We'll start hammering out who's in, who's out, who's on wait list. And then we'll start matching scholarships with those. When our offer letters go out, it will tell you how much funding you have. And if you are not a Texas resident, it's also going to mention that non-resident tuition waiver. And that waiver is worth about $12,700. So it's a pretty significant savings. You then have to tell us by April 15th if you are coming. So it gives you roughly a month and a couple of weeks to get offers from all the schools you've applied to and start comparing and talking to people to just see which one makes the best fit for you. You can find all this information on the website under admissions. Just go to the degree program of interest. So if it's for MIA, click on the MIA admissions. If it's MIP, click on that one, and so forth. MIP works a little differently because it's a much smaller program. They enroll all year, so it's a rolling admissions. So same idea with the GradCast application, same fees, still unofficial transcripts, 2 letters of rec, resume, personal statement, GRE test, optional, English proficiency. Talk to Ashley if you've got questions, but usually you're getting a result within 2 weeks of your application, because the interviews are optional for you guys. So rolling admissions, early August, those MIP applications are open for the full year. You just have to pull down which one. Are you spring, summer, or fall? And then rolling decisions are given, like I said, within about 2 weeks. Same thing, find it on the website if you got questions. Now, in case you're curious, what does the incoming class look like this past fall? I put the MIA. Now the spring is when the MPH starts with us. So I kind of combined these two, even though I said fall. The enrollment for the MIA and the MPH with us, it's only 2 students for the MPH. It's 91 students. We've got an average GPA of a 3.56. Average age is 24. So it's particularly young. Most always is. It's almost 50-50. Women is 48%, students of color 25%. Notice that we don't have a huge contingency of international students. You'll see why in a minute when we talk about costs and how we can cover some funding, but we don't offer the full rides that a lot of people need. So international enrollment, we're about 14%. Non-residents, about 52%. So we try to make it about 60-40 this year, about half and half. And then average work experience, we bring a lot of students in that was 0 to 2 years. They already know they want this degree. They're coming in, they're not waiting. 2 to 5 years is 18%, 5+ years, 20%. I'm not going to cover the MIP, but that's right there if you want to look at it. As far as learning environment, the professors here are both a mix of practitioners who've been in the field, and that includes someone who was a CIA Directorate of Operations. We have an administrator of USAID, ambassador in the Foreign Service. You got military servicemen who've been working with cyber and security details. Those that have been working with the UN and refugee situations, all kinds of mix of the faculty here, and those that are well known in their fields for their research and their prowess through that. The average class size, most of ours top out at 20 to 25, sitting in a classroom learning from that professor. But some are as few as 10, right? Or even less than that. So you really are going to get a one-on-one kind of education. You're not sitting in classes with 50 to 100 people. It's much, much smaller than that. The funding, which is hugely important, so listen carefully. In year 1, you will receive scholarship and you will receive a non-resident tuition waiver if you are not from Texas. If you are coming into the MIA, remember that doesn't mean MIP. Every student we admit who attends full-time will receive scholarship. So that's 100% of our students receive something. Those scholarships, there's a few full rides, but there's just like 2 or 3 of them. And so those have to go to domestic students because of the way they're set up. The only ones we have that we can give a bigger amounts is the Bush School scholarships. And we start at $20,000 a year. Then we move to 15,000, 10,000, 7,000, 5,000, 3,000, and a couple people might even get 1,000. For fall of 2024, you're going to notice 51% of our people earned a $3,000 scholarship. 31% had between a 5 and a 7,000, but only 18% of our students got between a 10,000 or higher. In the summer, if you get an unpaid internship, you can earn a stipend, and Matt will talk about that in a minute. So those are available if you attend their workshops. In year 2, based off your first year scholarship and waiver, you renew at that same level. You need to keep your GPA above that 3.25. Same thing for the waiver. You got to keep that GPA up or it goes away. Or you can apply for a GA position. We call them GARs and GANs, researchers or non-teaching. Some of those GARs are working for faculty. The GANs typically are working for staff. I have a GANT that works with me for admissions and recruitment. So does the career services, so does development, and so forth. So there are some that you can apply for, but almost all of us are taking how you did in the first year into consideration, because you don't want to overwhelm a student who doesn't have a good GPA, because you're setting them up for failure if you're giving them 20 hours of work per week on top of their studies. But the payoff is great, because if you get a GA position, that position's worth close to $20,000. You have to give up the first year scholarship. You can't have both. It's one or the other. And so remember the costs. This is how far it goes. So I'm going to give you this in a second, but the financial aid from Texas A&M, those Robertson Foundation Fellowship, those are the ones that are full rides only for domestic students. There's only a couple of them. For Texas residents, if let's say you get a $5,000 scholarship, you can also apply for the Texas Aggie Graduate Grant. It's a need-based grant, but it's good for another $5,000 if you are able to land that. We also encourage everyone to fill out FAFSA, look for campus jobs. There are other GA positions elsewhere on campus, working for Veteran Services, working for the Writing Center, working as an RA. You just have to apply for those. And if you get them, you can work those jobs and keep your Bush School scholarship. So long as they're not in our Bush School, you're fine. You international students, not everybody can work. So you're gonna have to look at your restrictions for that. Our cost estimates, notice the Texas resident is right about $13,600 per year. That's at 24 credit hours. Non-residents, you're looking at a starting cost of around $26,300. International students, you've got even more, because you've got about $4,000 in health insurance you've got to cover. And so you're closer to $20,600. Sorry, $30,600. And so if you're getting an average scholarship of $5,000 and the non-resident tuition waiver put in play, that part in blue there is the amount you have to cover. And that doesn't even include any of your living costs. And so this can be an expensive program if you don't have some funding of your own. And so we just like to tell people, same idea, I put in orange there, combined students, you need to work with public health and econ to see what portion you have to cover when you're with them. Because it doesn't, our scholarships and waivers don't kick in until you're with us full time. So I just use this average of a 5,000, but if you're one of the fortunate ones that's get a $20,000 scholarship, well, you just covered all your tuition and fees. You now just have to come up with living costs. So just giving you an idea that we're not, yes, it's affordable if you have some help. It's just, I can't cover it all in-house. MIP, not going to cover this much, but here's our cost. It's about $17,000 for Texas residents, $32,900 for non-residents, $38,000 for internationals. And you can pay to have a little bit more flexibility by having some online classes, but you do not receive any scholarship. So those are the costs you see. You can submit FAFSA, you can use your military benefits, you can apply for outside scholarships if you're interested in that program. Okay, I'm going to start taking a stop right here, and I'm going to look at the chat sessions while Matt Upton, he's going to talk for the next couple of slides about how we support our student with student services and with the career aspect. So thank you, Matt. Take it.
Great. Thanks, Catherine. Howdy, everybody. Glad you all joined us today to learn about our international affairs programs. So I just want to share with you a little bit about some of the student services that we offer here, in addition to all of the great academic resources that Catherine's already talked about, academic programs. We have a number of student services, including our public service leadership program led by Holly Kasperbauer. Holly is strengths certified. She's also a strengths certified coach. She's also certified in Myers-Briggs type indicator. And so she uses that as an opportunity to help you learn about yourself. So she offers both the MBTI and the Strengths Finder assessments at the beginning of your academic career here. And then that information is also used when you begin getting ready to work in some of your group projects, especially in your second year in your capstone project. Oftentimes, faculty members will have Holly come in and talk to you about the different personalities in your group and the different strengths that are represented there. She also offers a Dean's Leadership Certificate, requires you to complete those assessments, attend some of her workshops, and then also create an individual leadership development plan. And that's something you can take with you and refine. And we hear back from our former students, our alumni, that they're often looking back at that and continuing to refine that individual leadership plan as a professional and career development tool down the road. In addition to that, we also have a writing program here. Cindy Brazer and Brenda Kent work with our students. They don't edit your papers for you, but they will help you become a better writer. We all know that writing is important in the professional world, and so it's something that they offer. As part of what they do, they also offer what's called the Medal of Excellence program, where you create an online e-portfolio or writing portfolio. You do that by attending a series of career workshops. I'm sorry, I say career, just regular workshops, writing workshops. And then you'll also begin developing that e-portfolio. If you complete that and the requirements for the leadership certificate from Holly's program, then combining those together, you can get the Medal of Excellence, which is a really nice medal, Olympic style medal that you can wear at graduation. But it's also something that you can talk to employers about, to talk to them about what you've done to improve your writing skills, your leadership development skills, your professional skills, et cetera. In addition to those programs that are focused on you as an individual developing you, we also offer a wide range of speakers who come in. And so you'll hear about some of our research institutes and centers here in just a few minutes. And they're oftentimes the ones bringing in these speakers, faculty members from other universities, some of our former students, national and regional speakers who come in and share their experiences. And you do sometimes have the opportunity to interact with those those speakers in smaller group settings. So it's really a great opportunity to do that. In addition to the presidential library, which is next door, which houses President Bush's archives, and you can use those as research, Texas A&M, as you would imagine, has a large digital and library collection here at the university and has access to a strong interlibrary program with universities across the state of Texas and across the nation. So they can get just about anything you need for your research. If you are interested in some international travel, maybe you've never done a study abroad trip, just didn't get around to it, or you'd like to do some more, our programs often offer study abroad trips at least once a year. Those are typically in May, right between your, typically you could do it between your first and second year or at the end of your second year. So that is an opportunity. We do have a reciprocal exchange program with the university in Wales, Swansea University, and that could be a potential. And then if you are doing a capstone project with an international client, you may have the opportunity to travel with them. For those of you who are applying to the Master of International Affairs program, as Catherine's already mentioned, you will be required to pass a spoken language exam in a language of your choice at the intermediate low level with the American Council for the Training of Foreign Languages. This is an OPI score. We do have free Rosetta Stone access. We have practice groups and tutors that you can work with. And so that foreign language requirement is something that we encourage you to really think strongly about. Do you have the capacity to get to that intermediate low level? If you are unsure of that and you feel like you need a little bit of extra training, you do have the option of doing a language immersion between your first and second year in addition or in lieu of that internship. And so you could do either a language immersion or an internship between your first and second year to get your language skills up to what they're needing. So we have 6 centers and institutes here at the university at the Bush School. We have 4 that are really actively engaged here in the International Affairs program. Those are the Scowcroft Institute of International Affairs. They bring in a number of speakers, nationally recognized speakers. They have a pandemic and biosecurity policy program, a French institute. We have the Albritton Center for Grand Strategy. They do work in the grand strategy arena. Mosbacher Institute for Trade, Economics, and Public Policy. Their name tells you what they do. And then the European Union Center obviously gives you an idea of what they're focused on. There are some additional programs that are tied to the international affairs concentrations, including our Women, Peace, and Security program, our Intelligence Studies program, Middle East, and then Cyber Policy, Strategy, and Security, and last but not least, Economic Statecraft. So those are some additional places that you can do research, you can get involved with. Some of these institutes also offer funding for internships in those areas. The Mosbacher Institute is one of them. They offer up to $10,000 for a summer internship stipend for an international internship and up to $7,500 for a domestic internship in trade, economics, and public policy. But again, you have to attend some required career workshops, and I'll talk about those here in just a sec. So most of you are not looking at graduate school just for the fun of it. Most of you are hoping that you can expand your career horizons, enhance what you bring to the table when it comes to the employers. So you're probably wondering where our graduates go when they finish. We offer a series of career workshops that Ashley Winterroad manages for us. Those career workshops will cover everything from putting your resume in right order, making sure if you're applying for the federal government that it's in federal resume format, that your LinkedIn profile is appropriate. Even if you're interested in the intelligence community, you can have a LinkedIn profile. Just how you say things and what that looks like looks a little bit different. We can help with that. How to network and interview effectively, how to negotiate your salary, and then just how to manage your career as you move forward. In the International Affairs program, we report our employment statistics according to APSIA guidelines, which is the Association of Professional Schools of International Affairs. We all report our employment at 6 months post-graduation. That gives people time to get their clearances in if they're going to a security-sensitive position. But you can see that our primary areas that people are going to work are in the federal government or government contractor arena, some in the private sector. That number kind of ebbs and flows, and then in the nonprofit. And in the International Affairs program, we see that more as non-governmental organizations. So organizations that might be based here in the United States, like Chemonics International or Samaritan's Purse, some of those types of places, but they do function in international contexts. A few going into state and local government, not as many, and then some going on for continuing education. Just to give you an idea of some of the types of places that our graduates go to work, as you might expect, with a concentration in intelligence and foreign affairs or diplomacy, see a lot of our graduates go to work for a number of the three-letter agencies in the intelligence community: CIA, DIA, FBI, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Sandia National Labs, which is a government contractor in that space, Cyber Command. Government contractors, Booz Allen Hamilton is a pretty popular one. Chemonics does a lot of work with USAID, and so you'll see that. Other federal agencies, Department of Defense, Department of State. Sometimes it does take, because of the Foreign Service process, takes our graduates a little bit of time to get into the Foreign Service, depending on how early they start taking that Foreign Service officer exam. But we do have graduates who are working for agencies such as USAID and the U.S. Government Accountability Office. So if you are interested in looking at what people are doing at the state and local level with a degree in international affairs, you'll see them. Sometimes you're going to see them at the local level, sometimes in cities. Typically, those cities are bigger cities, like Sugar Land is a suburb of Houston. Florida Division of Emergency Management, we do see a number of our international affairs, intelligence, and diplomacy students go to work in emergency management arenas. Same thing here in Texas. The Texas Department of Public Safety has an intelligence division, and we have a number of our graduates who've gone to work for them. Some of the nonprofits are going to be places that I've mentioned, like Samaritan's Purse, Cato Institute, a think tank in DC, United Nations Development Program, and then private sector employers. Here's just a listing of some of them, so you have an idea of what that looks like. We do also have a number of student organizations that are specific to the Bush School. Texas A&M is a large university, and so if you don't find something here at the Bush School that you're interested in, I will tell you that there are over 1,000 registered student organizations at the university, so you should be able to find something to get involved in. And if you don't want to get involved in a student organization, there are a number of community organizations that you can get involved with as well, faith communities, public service organizations within the city that you can get involved with. We have a public service organization that does service activities here in the community. We have an internal student government association. There is a larger one, student government for the larger university, but we have one that's specific to our graduate programs. And they have committees, everything from social and traditions, the tailgating committee, a fundraising and merchandising committee. We have a sustainability or a green committee. They have worked this last year to get grants to add additional water bottle filling stations here in the building, and then also to get recycling bins. We do have student chapters of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, the International City and County Management Association. Our Ambassadors Council serves as hosts for a number of those speakers that we've talked about coming in. If you're an athletic person and you want to be involved in athletics or intramurals, we have active involvement in those as well with the university. And then this Foreign Language and Culture Society, they host a number of cultural events like maybe International Movie Night, International Food Night, where people from different cultures and contexts can bring a favorite dish in and share that together as a community. But then also, that is also who manages those language groups to help you practice your language as you move through your degree program. Okay, I think that's it for me, but I'll be on here until the end. I'll turn it back over to Catherine.
So I'm going to just take a moment and we're going to stop recording in a few minutes for me to then answer some of the questions. I've been busy on the chat, so I've answered some of them there, but I'll read some of them aloud. I just don't want to keep the recording going when I do it because it just links into even longer. So keep in mind, if you ever need me, just reach out to that Bushville Admissions, the same one I sent your reminders for. Both myself and Ashley Treadway are available to answer a phone, chat questions. We've got some sessions coming up. I'll show you on the next slide. If you're interested at all on the DC campus and what they offer, just reach out to them at Bushville DC. Office of Extended Education is available in the Bushville online. And then keep in mind, we do have a few other opportunities. I've got the student life. So our students will come on. We'll have about 3 to 4 of them talking about what it's like to be a student here. That's October the 1st. October the 7th, I'm going to come on and we'll give a lot of more detail with Ashley about what we want in the application itself. Career Services, Matt will come on and do a very unique session just for the Career Services, a little bit shorter. Financial aid at the grad level and what that looks like and how you can qualify for some federal aid. And then some overviews if you want just the gamut of everything. Those are all coming out. Some of you have signed up for all of them and you'll keep getting those reminders. If you are here in College Station and want to come for the open houses, keep in mind my first one is tomorrow. It's in person here in the Allen Building. You can register for that on the website. I just got 2 in the last 2 days, so that's great. And then we also have what are called Ask Us Anything Wednesday chat hours. They run every 1 to 2 weeks. They're 2 weeks right now, so I'll have the next one next Wednesday. And they usually run during the lunch hour here in College Station. So just look to see, or just email us at any time. We're happy to help. All right, I thank you for attending. I am asking you to stay on if you had some chat questions, you want me to cover them verbally. I'm going to do that in just a second, but we're going to sign off for now, just so I can get the recording stopped. So thank you guys, appreciate it.